Hello students, today let us see the semiconductor part 2. Already in part 1 we discussed about what is semiconductor, then what are its types. Today let us see the basic classification of semiconductors. It is basically of two types. One is called as intrinsic semiconductor and the other is extrinsic semiconductor. Now let us see what is the difference between this intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic is nothing but the semiconductor which is available in pure form. So what is intrinsic semiconductor? The semiconductor, it is available in pure form. It is called as intrinsic. Then what is extrinsic? The semiconductor available in impure form. Impure form. So what is your extrinsic semiconductor? I can say it is the combination of intrinsic semiconductor with impurities. Am I right? So I can write my extrinsic is nothing but intrinsic plus impurity. Clear? Now the question arises, what are the types of impurity you are adding? Basically we are adding two types of impurities. What are those? One is called as trivalent impurity. The other is called as pentavalent impurity. Trivalent impurity means what? They have 3 electrons in their outermost orbit, whereas pentavalent means they have 5 electrons in their outermost orbit. So what are the examples of trivalent impurities? Example is your boron, aluminum, gallium, indium. Okay, these are the examples of your trivalent impurity. Now let us see what are the examples of pentavalent impurities. Example are arsenic, then antimony, phosphorus, bismuth, etc. These are the examples of your pentavalent. Now what is the meaning of trivalent impurity? Is nothing but the element which is having 3 electrons in the outermost orbit. Now what is pentavalent impurity? The impurity which is having the 5 electrons in the outermost orbit or 5 electrons as valence electrons. Then that is called as pentavalent impurity. Fine. So you know already about the semiconductor. It is usually tetravalent. 4 electrons are present in outermost orbit. And what is most popularly used semiconductor? Silicon is highest popular. Why? Because they will always ask these questions even in all the interview and all the theoretical questions. Why silicon is highly popular? First thing is it is abundantly available or abundant because it is made up of silica sand. It's available plenty or not. That is the first reason. What is the second reason? Leakage current is very low. Third, it is less sensitive. Okay, that's what the main reason why the silicon is highly popular or highly preferred. That does not mean germanium is not used. Germanium is used for high frequency applications. Okay, now let us see what will happen if you add your impurity as trivalent and impurity as pentavalent. Now your intrinsic semiconductor, it is of tetravalent. So tetravalent, when it is combined with trivalent, how much electrons you will get now? 7. Similarly, when your tetravalent combined with your pentavalent, now how many electrons you will get? 9. Because penta means 5, tri means 3, tetra means 4. So 4 plus 3 gives 7, 4 plus 5 gives 9. Fine. So when your 7 electrons are formed here, so in your outermost orbit, you know, to justify the octet rule, there is always one shortage of electron. So here I can mention this as, I can take this line this way. This combined with this will give you 9. This 7 electron, what it indicates? 1 electron absence. Am I right? Similarly, 8 electron means outermost orbit, 1 electron will go. So, I can say extra 1 electrons. Here 1 electron absent because 7. To justify octet rule, it needs 1 more. Here 9. So, 8 will remain in the orbit and remaining one will be always extra free electron. So here one electron absence, what it is called as? It is called as hole. So what is hole? Absence of electron. So if electron charge is negative, then what is the charge of hole? Obviously it will be positive. So if anybody asks what do you mean by hole, what you have to answer? It is nothing but absence of electron. Then what is the charge of it? It is positive. Okay. Then what is the direction of movement of electrons and holes? They are always opposite to each other. Fine. Now, so by adding your trivalent impurity with your intrinsic semiconductor, what you are going to frame? That is called as p-type semiconductor. So when you combine your trivalent impurity with your tetravalent semiconductor, then it will give you p-type semiconductor. Why you get p-type semiconductor? Because p means positive. So here you see one electron absence means one hole is present. You are not doing for a single atom. You are doing for the whole crystal lattice in which million, billion, trillions of electrons will be absent. So if billion, billion, trillion electrons are absent, then million, billion, trillion of holes are created. Then what is the majority charge carriers? Holes. Hence it is called as P or positive p-type semiconductor. So P stands for positive. You can even say. So now what is majority charge carrier? Holes. If majority are holes, then what is minority? Obviously electrons. Clear? Matter over. Now come to your pentavalent impurity. When you add pentavalent impurity to your tetravalent semiconductor, what will happen? Always one electron extra. Just now I told you are not doing it for single atoms. You are doing it for whole crystal lattice. Then what will happen? It will create billion, million, trillions of extra free electrons. So what are the majority charge carriers? Electrons. Because you are adding pentavalent impurity. Hence the semiconductor which is formed by adding pentavalent impurity are called as N-type semiconductor. What it is called as? N-type semiconductor. Then what will be the majority charge carrier here? Electrons. So my majority charge carrier here is electron. Obviously minority charge carriers are holes. So right, minority charge carriers are holes. Is this concept clear? So if they ask how p-type and n-type semiconductors are formed, simply you have to answer that p-type semiconductors are formed by adding trivalent impurity to intrinsic semiconductor, whereas pentavalent impurity is formed by adding, n-type semiconductor is formed by adding pentavalent impurities. Then definitely they will ask what are the examples of trivalent and pentavalent impurities. Example of trivalent is boron, aluminium, gallium, indium. Okay. And coming to pentavalent, arsenic, antimony, phosphorus, bismuth, etc. Okay. At least minimum 2 you should remember. It's enough. Okay. Now let us see the importance of this p-type and n-type semiconductor. Usually individually we never used, very rare case. Only in the formation of substrate and all we used to use this individually. Otherwise the combination of this one p semiconductor and other n semiconductor is form one junction that is called as p-n junction, which gives us a beautiful device called as p-n diode. That is only the challenging part of semiconductor, to understand the concept what is happening inside this p-n diode. Also it is called as ordinary diode. Okay, so let us make the important topic that is called as p-n junction. Now you know p semiconductor and n semiconductor. Now we are going to design a device by using both p and n semiconductor, that is called as p-n junction. Now don't think that if I take a p semiconductor like this and one n like this and I'll joint like this, then p-n junction will form. No, it's wrong. There is certain process that is called as alloying, in which they will joint this p semiconductor with n semiconductor. Okay, so that a junction will be formed. Fine. So now just imagine this is I am taking P semiconductor. This we are taking the N semiconductor. Now it is joined by the process of allying. Now just imagine what will happen. Because in P side the holes are majority charge carriers. In N side the electrons are majority charge carriers. You know the law of nature. Opposite charges always attract each other. So definitely the holes from this side try to move to this side. This side electrons try to move this side. Now what will happen? You just imagine there are 100 small kids standing this side. There are similarly 100 kids standing this side. You just imagine these are the cute girls, positive charge. These are the cute boys, consider them as negative charge. You say them that those who are standing and there is in between some gap is there. That is only nothing but this junction point. Okay. You say that you just go and have a shake hand with them. Then what will happen? The first row boys and the first row girls, when they go and try to make the shake hand, the remaining boys and girls, for them they create the barrier. Am I right? So same way when these holes try to come to this side and these electrons try to come to this side, then what will happen? Only it depends on the doping. I forgot to tell you, I'm very sorry. What is doping? They will ask. The doping is nothing but it's the process of adding impurity to the semiconductor. Why you are adding impurity? To increase the current conductivity. So doping is a process in which impurities are added to the semiconductor. Or you can say doping is a process by which an intrinsic semiconductor can be converted to extrinsic semiconductor. Fine. So when you just imagine the same concept, small cute girl babies are there in your right hand side and small cute boy babies are there on your left hand side. If they are not standing that close, then in between them some gap is there, then obviously the second row people, both sides, they can come and shake hand. If they are very tightly standing with each other, then there is no chance for the second row girls, kuttis or babies to come and shake hand with each other. Am I right? So same way it depends here on the doping. How much will be the size of this junction? Am I right? Because if it is heavily doped, then only by one layer of these electrons coming to this side and one layer of holes going to that side, that's all. They will create the barrier. They will not allow the further movement of the charge carrier. If it is somehow lightly doped, then obviously second row electrons and holes will start to come together. Am I right? So when the electrons are moving there, then what is leaving these? Positive charges. Now what it is called as? Immobile donor ions or immobile charge carriers. Similarly, when these holes move to this side, holes are positive. So what it is leaving? It is called as negative acceptor immobile ions. So write it. When electrons move, what it left with? It left with positive donor immobile ions. Similarly, when the holes move, hole is positive. So it leaves negative acceptor immobile ions. That's what you can see in P side negative and in N side positive. This is nothing but called as diffusion current. Am I right? So very important concept, they will ask what do you mean by diffusion current. So what you will write? Diffusion current is nothing but due to one word, concentration gradient. If you write this, that's all, enough, 1 mark. What is diffusion current? It is the current due to the concentration gradient. What is concentration? Number of charge carriers per unit volume. Okay. So, even you can say there is a non-uniformity in charge carriers from one place to another. Due to that only the charge carriers which is densely here, they will start to move to the other area where it is less junctioned or less accumulated. It's human nature. Suppose 100 people are crowded here, very crowded area. Other area it is somehow vacant. They started to move to that area. Law of nature. Similarly, wherever charge carriers are more, they start to move to other side. So, due to the non-uniformity in concentration of the charge, the exact term is concentration gradient. So, what is the reason of diffusion current? It is due to the concentration gradient. Clear? They will always ask this question. Now, why this concentration gradient is there? Because the p-n junction. We are taking one p-type, other is n-type. So, completely imbalance in the concentration of the charge. Here completely majority holes, here majority electrons. So, due to that imbalance of the charge carriers, they started to move. Due to that current flows, that is called as diffusion current. Now, another beautiful concept that is called as drift current. What is drift current? Now see, when they started to move, you can find here positive charges accumulated, here negative charges accumulated. So, when they accumulated, now if you see, there is a potential developed across it, electric field. This is of high charge and this is of low charge V0. There is a electric field developed or not? This is high positive charge and here it is low negative charge. Am I right? Now, due to this, what will happen? When this is high positive, this is low negative. So, obviously, if it is high positive, the electrons in p side, what is that electrons? Minority of p-type. In p-type, holes are majority, electrons are minority. So, that minority electrons try to attract to this positive side. Similarly, due to this negative, the minority holes here positive, they will attracted towards it. Due to that, a current flows. That is called as drift current. So, what is drift current? It is due to the formation of the electric field at the junction, the current flows. So, what is drift current? It is due to the electric field at junction. The current flows. That is called as drift current. Clear? So, now it's very clear that your diffusion current and drift current both are in opposite direction or not? Because now you see this electrons attracted here, holes attracted here. This is the your diffusion current. This is hole diffusion current. This is electron diffusion current. Am I right? Now coming to drift current. This is the positive. So where it will attract? These electrons minorities, it will attract this side. Okay. So your direction of drift current is always opposite to your diffusion current. Clear? Now you can find in between this gap. What is this gap? It is called as potential barrier space charge region, SCR. Potential barrier or space charge region. So what is potential barrier? A barrier created due to the accumulation of charges from P and N side at the point of junction. Okay.